Hello and welcome. I'm Elizabeth Edwards, Managing Partner of H Venture Partners. We are a consumer-focused fund that backs the next generation of iconic consumer brands. And Venturing Out is a series that we've created where highly successful consumer executives talk about their experience investing in and advising startup companies. So if you are looking to diversify your investments, stay connected to your colleagues, and use your expertise as a force for good and growth, then this series is for you. And if you are a startup working to grow your brand, this is an opportunity for you to learn from some of the top leaders in consumer. And today, I'm joined by Yannis Skoufalos. Yannis is an incredible history working at Procter and Gamble, most recently as Global Product Supply Officer before entering retirement. Yannis now serves as operating partner at the Blackstone Group and serves as a board member and advisor for several companies. Welcome, Yannis.
Hello there, Elizabeth, and it's sheer pleasure and honor having this discussion and this engagement with you.
Thank you so much for making the time. I've really been looking forward to this. And I have a question for you, first and foremost, because one thing that is just, I think, so special about you, and the one thing that's really left the biggest impression on me, and now I try to emulate, is your style.
Elizabeth, I think we can blame my grandmother. She helped me grow up while my dad, who was a captain in the Merchant Navy, was traveling the globe. Along with him was my mom. So a great deal of my childhood, I was living next to my grandmother. And the lady, along with the rest of the family, they surrounded me with love. They surrounded me with genuine affection because they thought that I may be deprived of the fact that I didn't have my mom and dad next to me. So it's my grandmother, and I can say not only I've been hugely thankful to her, but this genuine affection and engagement and love that my grandmother gave me has been pivotal for the way I have had to use it as I engage with the men and women of Procter and Gamble across all of the floors across the globe.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Love in abundance and genuine affection. If all of us could bring that to work and to our relationships, I think that's just wonderful. I think that a lot of our listeners are going to really want to know about this next phase of your career because you are now an operating partner with Blackstone, which I know a lot of your peers as they evaluate, next steps, what is the next step in their career after retiring from an organization like P&G or others, whether it's serving on boards or becoming an operating partner with some of these very important firms. Tell us a little bit more about that experience. It's very unique. How did you get into this?
Yeah.
What is it like? And how did you get involved?
Right. Great question. The journey of 35 years with P&G has been a journey not only of accomplishment, but I would say a wonderful journey of learning, of knowledge acquisition over the years. So as I came to the next junction point in my life, I thought, hey, what is it that it really intrigues me and I want to go out and learn? I came into choosing the world of private equity simply because I wanted to find out how they save deals, how they morph deals, how one contributes in a capacity to a deal making, as well as to the execution and accomplishment of what the deal aimed to do. So in one of the boards, I had replaced the chief investment officer of Blackstone, Mr. Prakash Melawi. I came in touch with him. I was also very fortunate to come in touch with the Partners Group in Switzerland, who gave me the opportunity to go and meet the top executives and join the equivalent of the operating team, and finally the Apollo Private Equity company. And through those connections, the engagements are very different. I'm not quite sure that everything has an official title in the world of private equities, but I was given the opportunity to go and work at the likes of Blue Yonder, at the likes of Bloom Global, to see and be part of a team in Switzerland as they were morphing a wonderful deal that unfortunately didn't come to fruition, but that has given us the pathway to some other work. So still, the journey is very young for me on those fronts, but the passion of learning is really what characterized me. And that's why I kind of came to that world. And frankly, after a year and a half, I have no regrets.
Absolutely. I really identify with that. There are so many dimensions to the deal world beyond what one might experience in the operating world. I certainly came to know that in diving into venture capital 15 years ago. And it's exciting. I'm with you. I think what we're able to do and learn from, 10 companies, soon to be 15, it is just an absolute pleasure to work with these companies and to learn from them as much as they learn from us. Well, you retired from P&G in 2019. What was it like to end your traditional career path and approach this new phase? And what are the challenges for people that are at the end of that obvious career path but aren't quite ready to be done?
There are certain things that they are top of mind as one thinks through that phase. Richness of emotions was the most predominant for me. And naturally, and a little bit of a dilemma and anxiety as to what you do next. Let me talk a little bit about richness of emotions, because the love and the affection that the colleagues will give you is just simply inordinate. And I was blessed to see that in abundance. A little bit of the anxiety and the dilemma, what do you do, is something that one needs to think through. I was fortunate enough, I was given enough, I worked together with leadership about enough time so that I could prepare the succession plan, I could prepare myself and walk out, if I may say, from one chapter and move to another chapter with relative ease. There is where I came across the world of the beautiful world of private equity. There is where I came across your wonderful world of startups, of new things to do, of angel investing, and all that. Over time, it came to fruition as I walked into the next chapter of life.
That's so wonderful that the transition went so well. And I think that is just such great advice. Well, so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about how do you stay involved and connected and continue to use your skills and strengths today?
Right. Well, the different boards and engagements that I am in, they offer me an inordinate amount of insights as to how new companies think. I would also cite the opportunity that you've given me to work with this potential company, a startup in the area of fem care. I've known feminine care for quite a while in a different context, in a different world. And just the sheer thinking of talking to this young man who owns the company, it provides you with a ton of triggers that if you really want to use, Elizabeth, you can be really very busy and you can acquire a ton of knowledge. Sometimes it's for your own good and your own passion of learning. And some of it you can really bring it to fruition in terms of business and business outputs.
Well, and it has an incredible impact because when I think of the company that you're referring to and their team, to be able to access someone of your experience, the level of experience, the breadth of experience, and then very specifically this domain where we're talking about a very highly technical, very competitive category where margins really are tough.
Right.
To access your expertise, that has an incredible impact on their bottom line, on the overall risk profile of the company for us, the investor, and therefore you, the investor.
Correct.
And but then in some small way, right? Hopefully, coming back to you in some form, which is appreciation, personal appreciation, but also an appreciation of your investment value, which is really wonderful.
Correct, Elizabeth. I want to say this. I love your portfolio. I love what you're trying to do. I love the emphasis that you're posing in terms of women owning the startups and women being in executive positions. I think this is our future as humanity. And I don't say it just to say it. I really believe in this. I come from a company that has made diversity and inclusion as one of its part of its purpose, values, and principles. And seeing you doing that, I think, is a true inspiration for all of us. Stay this way, please.
Thank you. Absolutely. There's so much opportunity, and I think it will only become self-evident. As you say, it is the future, and our work is a small part of it.
Absolutely.
I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about your involvement with H Venture Partners, because you have made such an impact on Hazel, one of our portfolio companies, helping them think through. And I think it's an interesting time to be involved with Hazel in the setting up of a supply chain. I know that you've spoken with Martin Ryan about this. Tell us a little bit more about what gets you excited about working with H Venture Partners. There's Hazel, there are other companies. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, being able to see that portfolio establish itself and being part of its growth by actually educating and getting the new business leaders that you are involved with to see the understanding and the impact of the business of supply, for me, fascinates me. You've given me a wonderful opportunity to come in, look at the portfolio. You and I are talking where we could leave the biggest mark. You're doing that with so many other executives, which is fantastic. And therefore, you get the emotional satisfaction of helping out a relatively young person to come in and do well in the business, but also because they are so bright, you are opening a window of knowledge and opportunities for them, that of the business of supply, for them to come in and really learn a ton and begin to appreciate what the supply networks can do for them and their own business. So frankly, a win-win. Win emotionally, win with seeing others grow as individuals and business leaders, and hopefully seeing the investments coming through in a big way.
Absolutely. And Yannis, it's because of executives like you and the experience that you are lending to these companies very early on. I really appreciate you sharing your insights with us today. Yannis, your story is incredible. Your expertise is invaluable to us and to our companies. I hope that everyone has enjoyed this episode of Venturing Out. I certainly have. To our viewers, thank you for watching. You can help support our mission by sharing this episode out on your networks. And for more information on H Venture Partners, you can visit our website, www.h.ventures. Yannis, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.